Hello, my brothers and sisters. I'm Deacon Bob Markert at Incarnation Parish in Louisville, and I'm here again today to share with you reflections on the readings for today, Saturday, March the 19th, which happens to be the feast of Saint Joseph, the spouse of Mary, and before we get into the readings, and there are three today: Samuel, Romans, and Matthew. And it could have been Matthew could be switched with Luke. That's, I guess, up to the presider or preacher's choice. But Joseph is this marvelous holy character we find in Scripture, and he never speaks. He is totally silent. And all the little stories about him, especially in Luke and in Matthew, he hears, he responds. He's always righteous and upright and just. And we pick up from him also this marvelous sense of compassion and sense of feeling for others, especially this young lady called Miriam, we call Mary. And Joseph had to deal with some really lousy stuff. I mean, you're engaged to somebody, which in Jewish law was more than being engaged. Some of the engagement, you had to wait a year before you were formally married, but you were known as being a couple. And so Joseph finds that Mary is pregnant after coming back from visiting her aunt, and he's got the problem, what am I going to do? Because having a child out of betrothment, which would be basically the same as having a child while you're being married, and Joseph knew he wasn't the father, she was subject to be stoned to death by Jewish law. And so we have this strong, quiet man, and his first thought isn't, what am I going to do? I'm going to be, the laughing stock of the people in the village because, Mary's pregnant and I'm not the guy. He first thought, what are the consequences for Mary? Which shows an inner sense of goodness of this man, who we call righteous, who we call faithful. We refer to him as gentle, and his fidelity is sung in art and songs throughout the ages. And he was silent. To experience all these moments of Jesus's naming and circumcision, the events around his birth with the visitation in Bethlehem with the three kings, the flight through the desert to Egypt, his quandary with Mary, later on losing Jesus and going nuts with Mary and fear over where is this child, is he okay, and then finding him in the temple and he was a little whippersnapper, was a kind of, smart mouth. And he was silent. All these marvelous moments that he has experienced, the dreams, the angels speaking to him, all of these are just truly amazing. And as a carpenter, he was more than just a simple carpenter. Most carpenters, like Joseph, in that day and age in his society, would also have been masons. They also would have been able to put up stone walls along with the carpentry, so that they were someone who would help build houses for others. An important job in his society. And I'm captured by his strength and his quietness, because I'm not. And the fact that he dies and we don't know it. He's not mentioned as having died. But we know that sometime after they find Jesus in Jerusalem in the temple, that Joseph never is mentioned again. And so Mary becomes a widow, someone without power, because she does not have a male protector except for Jesus, and maybe he was just a boy. Mary, Jesus experiencing the poverty of being a widow, certainly helps formulate Jesus' own thoughts about the poor, about the orphan, about the widow, and the fact that they are a primary care placed within the hands of all of us. Mysterious and marvelous moments of Scripture. Today's readings, I'm just not getting to it. I love Joseph. He's a fascinating character, and I admire him greatly. There is a writing, and
ever since I was 14 years old.
I'm sorry, but my tablet just went crazy. And I was looking for a statement, but anyway, there's a lady in spiritual program called Give Us This Day, which is out of St. John's Collegeville. It's a Benedictine institution, and today's reflection is by a lady named Nancy Dallaval in Give Us This Day. And she makes the statement that Joseph, silent as the moment of creation. Wow.